right now, Da'Sean, I am not ready to say that Michigan is the best team in the Big Ten, but
Yeah.
Michigan can absolutely win the conference regular season title and win the conference tournament title. They can do both of those things. I'm not saying that they are going to, but they absolutely have the team to do that.
They have the team too. We can't negate that. They have a great coach. Um, I just feel like the sample size is too small to even jump on the boat of them winning the Big Ten. Like it's still early for me, and we've seen a lot of the Big Ten, the other teams in the Big Ten, play against some competition, win some big games. We just watched Iowa go into the rack and come out with a win. We just watched Kofi Coburn go and play what's my guy Travion Williams, big man battle, and watch Illinois come out with a win against a solid Purdue team. Like there's still some more we need to see of Michigan playing in the Big Ten. But if anything was if it was a show that they wanted to put on, they did today. A Northwestern team that they've beaten 2 ranked teams already. They got 2 ranked teams under their belt, and they're a very well coached team. And I mean, Michigan didn't care about any of those things, so they went out there and dogged them.
Yeah. So there were 2 things that really stood out to me about this matchup. One is that, like on the surface, this was kind of this was the team that probably could take down Michigan, just from the sense that, like, when you have like Hunter Dickinson is not like, he's really, really good, and we're going to talk about him later. Yeah. But he's not exactly the most fleet of foot guy, right? Yeah. And so, like, the thinking is, when you're going up against a team that really wants to spread the floor like Northwestern does, you're going to force him to have to go out and guard on the perimeter. And it at the start, like, that kind of did happen a little bit. I think it was Robbie Barron beat him off the dribble once, and Northwestern I think they jumped out to like a 10-2 lead, and Pete Nance had 8 of those 10 points. But then from there, like, Michigan made their adjustments and completely shut Northwestern down, and it was a wrap. Over. Like, it was over. They scored. I don't even know what the run was, but it was ridiculous. They outscored them by like 30 points over the next 20 minutes. Yeah. And I mean, look, Hunter Dickinson is really, really good, but I think the guy that we really need to talk about here is Franz Wagner, because, the Isaiah Livers still hasn't really gotten it going yet, and Shawnee Brown has been good, but it's pretty clear to me that Juwan wants to use him as like kind of like a 6-man role. Yeah. Franz Wagner is the difference maker, because not only is he a guy that can make threes and can make plays off the bounce, but like he had 5 blocks and a couple of steals today. Like he's become something of a defensive playmaker. And if you can combine all of those things with a 6'9" dude that can play off the bounce, that can shoot threes, that can make passes, and that can be kind of that defensive playmaker there, all of a sudden you're looking at a team that becomes scary good on that end of the floor. Like Isaiah Livers, Shawnee Brown's, Franz Wagner at the 2 through 4 can guard pretty much any group of like 3 players in the country, those 3 guys. And that's really tough, because we know they're going to be pretty good offensively.
I mean, we know they're going to be good offensively. What I was really impressed with was the defensive end and how alert they were defensively. Like, Northwestern is not a bad offensive team at all, and they stopped everything they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like, Shawnee Brown was out there, like, they stopped everything. So I was very impressed with how good of a defensive team they were, how well they worked together, and how well they ran in transition. Because I mean, they got a ton of steals and they were just out. And once they rebounded the ball, they pushed the pace a ton. So it was, I like the pace they had getting into transition, and in half court they just took advantage of that 3-2. Like, it was nothing they could do. Mm-hmm. They couldn't guard a man to man, and then went to the 3-2, and it was just, it was a done deal. Wagner just stepped out there, knocked down threes. They had guys making jump shots left and right and attacking and finding the right places in the zone. They found what's his name, Dickinson, in the post. And usually you get in the post, some bigs, not all bigs, but some bigs, they rush the shot up because they know that the zone's collapsing on them. And Dickinson just took his time, stepped through, found layups, and just found the rim. And they're a very well coached team, and they got really good players. So I'm excited to see the rest of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I do think that it is important to point out that we might have seen Michigan play the 4 worst teams in the conference so far. They've beaten Nebraska, Penn State, Northwestern, and Maryland. So those might be the 4 bottom teams in the league. And that definitely needs to be taken into account when the top of the conference is as good as the top of this conference is. But at the very least, like, I think that they've proven that they're going to be in the mix throughout. I just, when it comes to late February, we're going to be having that kind of, like, at the very, like, worst case scenario, we're probably going to be like, yeah, Michigan's a game out. They're still in the mix. If they can beat Iowa here on the second to last game of the season, it's the kind of thing where maybe they actually have a chance to get a win. But I mean, I've very, very impressed. I still think it's really going to come down to what their backcourt does, because again, like, look, Hunter Dickinson has been awesome, but he really had who's the best big guy he's played? Like, this is who they played this season: Bowling Green, Oakland, Ball State, UCF, Toledo, Penn State, Nebraska, Maryland, Northwestern. He has not gone up against one of the great big, like, they get Liam Robbins and Minnesota, who we just watched beat up on.
He led the game too.
Yeah, he had 27, 14 and 5 blocks. Like, Hunter Dickinson gets him Wednesday. He gets Wisconsin's front line, and then Liam Robinson again next week. Then they got Purdue and Trace Jackson Davis, and then they got Illinois. So there are a lot of very, very, very good big guys in the Big Ten, and Hunter Dickinson has not played against any of them yet. We also haven't seen their guards really go up against anybody, and to me, what Eli Brooks and Mike Smith can end up being in the backcourt, like, that's where we find out what their ceiling is. Like, we know they're good enough to be able to beat the bad teams and beat the teams that they're able to beat. But if those two are going to be able to be good enough for this team to win the conference, then they're going to have to go out and prove it. And we haven't seen them do that against a team that's good enough for that. Again, they get Marcus Carr on Wednesday, so we're going to find out sooner or later.